Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. starcitizen finally introducing different levels of loot. There's gonna be common, uncommon, and rare loot. I know, usually things you find in the game pretty early on, only being introduced now. No mention of epic or legendary loot yet. This game is literally unplayable. But that's coming down the line. So first of all, let's appreciate the thumbnail on this video, which is the Hurston security armor. Now if this helmet ever comes with a yellow visor, making it kind of yellow and black, I will pay you $1 million USD for that, if that's kind of an epic or legendary drop. So let me know if you ever find anything like that. But let's dig into the video.
I think we all can agree that looting was
and I know you hate when I pause right away, but let me just introduce those of you who don't follow the game too closely what's happening here. Now, when you explore a derelict like the man's doing over here, or you go into a bunker, you find these little containers on the ground. When you find these containers on the ground, you can look what's inside. Now, typically what we found is a bunch of garbage, like what he sees over here, which is a bunch of food and drink. Food and drink not being, I guess it is essential. You kind of need food and drink in this game, but it's not critical to the current gameplay. But what they're going to introduce now are more unique items to find, encouraging you to explore more, but also you'll be able to sell them at a store to the NPCs. Let's go and see what they say about it. Favoring the bold.
Up until right now, players got the same loot in different locations, so you could go to Korea.
Samuel Molina is a handsome man. Look at those dreamy eyes. God damn.
Or a cave or an outpost, and potentially have the same content. For 3.17 though, we are changing that, and now we are tailoring the content for each location. The other addition, because up until right now, all the content was considered common content that you could even buy in shops. We are now adding the concept of rarity.
So there you go, they're adding the concept of rarity. What you see here is a player going into one of the many outposts littered all over the moons. And he found a box. In that box is going to be some gear. So that green helmet, I think, is something I've not seen around much. And if green is your color and you happen to find a helmet which is the exact color you like, hey, that's great loot. But say you don't really care about the colors that makes no difference to you, you can go and sell it. Now, based upon the rarity of the item, there's no indication here whether that's uncommon or common or rare, whatever it is. But you will be able to get a higher price for an item which is more rare. And I'll show us in a second as they approach one of the stores. Now, this is actually a pretty important game loop, which has been missing for a very, very long time. In other games you play, think about it. What is it that encourages you to go rerun a level or redo a boss? The possible reward of a rare drop is what encourages you to repeat that. So I definitely see this as a carrot being dangled in front of a lot of players saying, hey, if you don't run bunker missions too often, or you don't plan on doing derelicts too often, now there's a reason for you to do that, because they will be dropping rare items, which if you like, you can keep, or you can sell for money. More on that later in this video.
We have 3 different types of rarity, so it's the common one, the uncommon one,
eyes are piercing my soul.
The uncommon one is going to be items that are not available in the shops anymore. For example, security armor or pirate armor, it's content that it's specific for a group of people. In order to make rarity viable option.
Did they say the security armor is something which will drop? Thank goodness, because I'm tired of killing the guards for that. Finally, I can do it without getting a crime stat.
Obviously, with looting becoming such a big feature in the game, we kind of need an ability for you to sell the loot that you've been acquiring this whole time.
Yes.
To do that, we're going to be updating the shop system and item shops with a brand new kiosk that will have a much improved user experience.
Finally. Those of you who run bunker missions a lot, how many weapons and scopes and armor sets have you collected? They're overflowing. There's no place to put them anymore, so I'm thrilled that finally, after clearing a bunker and grabbing all the weapons, you can do something with this. Let's take a look at the kiosk and how this new selling system in 3.17 works.
That will allow you to sell your various items So for 317, the system determining what can be sold where and for how much is going to be very simple. Basically, if a shop sells an item of a certain type, they sell guns, they sell ship parts.
All right, let's pause here and take a look at the screen. So there's buy and sell buttons there. Clicked on the sell. Note that there is a ship weapon listed there. So he has a ship weapon in inventory. Is this possibly related to salvage, where you find a crashed ship, you can salvage the weapon from the ship and then sell it? I don't see why else you'd be wanting to sell ship weapons unless you bought them by accident, which doesn't happen. So yeah, that actually fits into salvage. I hope that's what the case is here. And finding crashed ships, being able to pull the weapons off them and selling that weapon for money, great game loop. That's a wonderful game loop, and I hope that's what we're seeing.
You can then sell to that shop items of that type. The pricing will be as follows. It will start at 90% of the price that the shop sells it for, and depending on their current inventory, it will fall down to 50%, with 50% being that they are absolutely full on that item.
So that's interesting, and also I like that system, because if you go to some outpost in Hurston and you're picking up all the weapons and you're going to the nearest place to sell it, that place will be saturated with that item and you will only get 50% of the value. But if you travel further out to a place which there may be more demand for that item, I guess this is the first instance, the first use of Quanta in this sense. That's being used for this, essentially, which makes sense economically, that if one place is saturated with too much supply, then prices are different. So you want to go places where you get more money for it, encouraging you to travel. Eventually, when there's more systems in the game, this will basically mean traveling to other systems where they want weapons, where none are available, to make much more money on your weapons. So this ties into a lot of different game loops, everywhere from clearing bunkers to transportation. Now, let's say you full entire boatloads or shiploads of weapons to take to an area which is short on weapons. This means you got to transport things. That means you need security to help you transport. A whole bunch of things tied together to make money from doing this. I love it. I love where this is going.
If they do not have that exact item in their inventory, you will default down to 50% because, frankly, they don't really want to stock that thing anyways.
Not bad.
Rarity, of course, will come into play for this, but basically the base prices of items will help to determine how much they sell for. There has been a small pass to just kind of update some of these prices to fall within line of the fact that certain items now can't be found in stores, and certain items are going to be very difficult to find in the boxes throughout the world. And of course, the Pico Balls will be the most valuable item in all of the Persistent universe.
Okay, pay attention. They give us a clue here. There's some kind of orange box, and then another box has tools on it, and the Pico Ball is there. For those who are new, the Pico Balls were dropped into this game by Disco Lando a while ago, and I think, I've only seen one found. A guy posted on Reddit that he found one, but there's more hidden. So here's a clue.
One of the features that we're really happy that we included in this is when you are selling something with attachments, you can, on the spot, go through and detach those attachments in the selling interface so that they don't get sold. Let's say that you're trying to sell a sniper rifle and you have a really nice scope on it. You will see that when you go to make that.
Amazing. Okay, this is something so small and stupid, but it really is. I've been playing Cyberpunk. They recently did their 1.5 patch where they fixed a lot of issues with the game, so I've done another playthrough of it. And one of the things I come across in that game is when I go sell a whole bunch of stuff I find, the entire weapon sells as is. But in endgame, you're always about the cosmetics, right? So let's say you find a rifle and it's got a gold scope, and you want that gold scope because, hey, I like gold, right? Here, I mean, this is so small, but really something which I think is a wonderful example of their attention to detail. I can pull off the scope and keep it, but sell the weapon itself. Bravo. I love it. Also, as far as getting rid of not selling the magazine in it, yes, you cannot carry around unlimited amounts of ammo. So if you are a sniper and you only have 50 rounds of ammo, every single round counts. So being able to pull out the magazine at point of sale, not selling it, great. Wonderful. I love it.
Transaction and be able to say, oh, actually, I want to keep that.
Nice. Well done.
One problem that we are aware of in all interfaces that deal with items of this type is stacking. The stacking system in personal inventory and in now this shop screen, which uses the same stacking method, means that it can be a little annoying to move large quantities of the same item. We don't have an immediate perfect solution for that where we can stack items that are identical, but in the short term we did a little solution where there's just a quick sell button on each item in the list.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not an expert on the database issues, but I'm curious to know why they cannot stack items. But if you go and you basically go to an outpost and you find a bunch of loot, none of that loot actually stacks up. So what you're seeing an example here is the Arclight Midnight Pistol, and as you see, none of it stacks, it's all individual. So their solution, I don't know why there's a problem with this. Maybe someone understands the database better, can explain it to me. But their short-term solution is just to put a quick sell button underneath each item, and you just click each button, I guess, which I guess works for now.
Fair warning to all of you, there is no buyback button at this time, so if you sell something, it is gone. Be careful.
Kind of irritating, but
and
okay.
Of course,
interesting. All right, so obviously a much needed game mechanic. I'm glad to see it finally make its way in. I'm very curious to see what kind of rare loot and eventually legendary epic loot down the line will be. For example, you might like a sniper rifle, and there might be a particular rifle with a very unique paint job that can only be found in a very unique place. That is rare loot. You can choose to keep it, you can choose to sell it. This adds so much to this game as far as exploration and encouraging you to explore derelicts and go out of the way to find things. I definitely see this as a very important stepping step. 317 turning out to be, not massive as content-wise, but pretty massive in terms of new game loops, opening up the stores to sell things you find, rare loot coming in. There's certain helmets I'm dying to get my hands on, like this yellow one over here. So if anyone ever finds that, let me know. I will buy that from you. And a much welcome addition to the game. So let me know your thoughts on the loot system. What is lacking? What would you like to see come in? Comments below as always. If you enjoy my content, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.